Hello everybody, today we're talking about the Islamic Empires. Let's start by talking about the spread of Islam. We mentioned earlier about Muhammad and Muhammad founding Islam and everything, but we're going to look at what happened after Muhammad died. And when Muhammad died, Muslims need to pick a new caliph or successor. So the first four caliphs that they picked all had a personal connection to Muhammad and are many times referred to as the rightly guided caliphs. After the last one of those, we then had the Umayyad caliphs that come around, and they ruled from 661 to 750. And they moved the capital of the empire to Damascus because it was more centrally located as Islam spread and the empire got larger. Arabs were very successful at spreading Islam. Not only were they good warriors, they were good on horseback and good at using the sword, but also they had the common idea of religion and the ideas of Islam to hold them together. One group I'd like to mention that did not use war but instead used teaching and preaching were the Sufis. And they were people that went around and they just kind of taught about Islam. And even merchants were able to spread Islam into places like Southeast Asia. Now let's talk about some of the struggles that go on within Islam. Just like in Christianity, when we talked about the split or the schism between the Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, Islam's going to go through something similar. Islam splits into two groups. One group is known as the Shiites, and they believe that descendants of Ali should be the caliph. While the other group are the Sunni, and they're the ones that accept the Umayyad dynasty as the rightful caliphs. Now, a new empire kind of comes in, and that is the Abbasids. And they are the group that replaces the Umayyads as the rulers of the Arabs, or the Arab Empire. They built a new capital at Baghdad, which is in modern-day Iraq. And then we have another group called the Seljuk Turks, and slowly they began taking over the empire. They like to run the government, take care of the army, but they weren't really religious. So as they took over the empire, they allowed the Abbasids to stay in charge of religion. The Seljuk Turks were in charge of the government and the army. Now let's talk about some later Muslim empires that come about. And one of them is the Ottoman Turks. They built an empire in Asia Minor. And they're the ones that conquered the Byzantine Empire. They took over Constantinople and renamed it Istanbul. Non-Muslims living in the Ottoman Empire had to pay a tax, but if they paid this tax, they were able to practice their own religion. One final group I'd like to mention were the Mughals, and they created a Muslim empire in India, and their most famous leader was Akbar, and he brought peace and order to India. The Mughal Empire lasted for a while, but eventually was conquered by Great Britain. That's just a little bit about some of the Islamic empires and some of the struggles that went on in Islam. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in class.